Hi, I'm Peter Hawley, President and CEO of Fabled Copper Corp, and I would like to tell you about our latest 2021 fuel results, where we sampled on surface 6.84% copper over 0.4 meters on the creek occurrence. This is Fabled Copper's 7th set of results of the 2021 surface field work on its Muskwa project, comprised of the Toro Property, previously referred to as the North Block, and the Toro Property, previously referred to as the South Block, all in Northwestern British Columbia. The company also holds rights to the Bronson Property further to the south. We will report our findings on the Toro Property first, then followed by the Toro, and then finally the Bronson. We started the new year by reporting our findings on the Lady Luck occurrence in the south end of the Toro Property. This was followed by the MAC, the 8A, Harris, the 2A and 2B copper occurrences, and now the Creek copper occurrence. The Creek showing is located approximately 250 meters from the Harris vein adit and can be followed on surface along a creek drainage system. The wall rocks are a gray siltstone and comprise the hanging wall, and a black shale on the footwall side of the veining. Occasionally, thin seams of graphite at the contact with the veining and the shale is seen. Folding becomes more intense in the nose of the folds, and secondary parasitic folding on the limbs is common on a micro and a macro scale. A total of 10 chip samples plus 1 gram sample were taken over a range and vertical altitude of 58 meters and approximately 250 meters along strike. Chip sample D-723216, taken at the 1,946 meter elevation and over a width of 0.3 meters, consisted of barren siltstone wall rock with well-developed cleavage, dark gray in color, and contained no apparent sulfides. And as expected, this sample returned 0.01% copper. Chip sample D-723217 was taken at the same altitude and over a width of 0.4 meters. This chip sample was comprised of white quartz with minor patches of carbonate, whispery seams of gray mineral, graphite, with disseminations and patches of chalcopyrite along the seams, with minor malachite copper staining. And this chip sample returned 0.29% copper. Now, chip sample D-723218, taken at the same elevation, consisted of gray siltstone with 20% white quartz, with minor carbonate veinlets with no apparent sulfides. And as expected, this chip sample, taken over 0.2 meters, returned 0.02% copper. Chip sample D-723219 at 1,944 meters, 2 meters vertically lower in elevation than previously reported sample, consisted of white quartz carbonate veining with moderate malachite copper alteration and contained a 1 to 2 centimeter wide seam of massive chalcopyrite. Overall, 7% chalcopyrite was seen. This chip sample over 0.10 meters returned 4.34% copper. Chip sample D-723220, taken downhill at 1,903 meters vertically, consisted of quartz with patches of carbonate and minor patches. These minor patches of limonite in parts are rod-like to platy in texture, with abundant malachite copper alteration and 5 to 7% chalcopyrite overall, as disseminated blebs and patches of semi-massive chalcopyrite. The word semi-massive should give you an idea, as this 0.40 meter chip sample assayed 6.84% copper. Now, chip sample D-723221, taken at the same elevation, consisting of white quartz carbonate veining with moderate malachite alteration with 1% chalcopyrite, as dissemination in small patches. This chip sample, over 0.20 meters, returned 0.36% copper. Note the metal sample tag left at the sample site for the sample location marker for further reference if required. Chip sample D-723222, taken at the 1,904 meter elevation, consisted of quartz carbonate with minor graphite on the contact with the wall rock shale, vuggy, moderate limonite, and malachite copper alteration, with 3 to 5% chalcopyrite as semi-massive pyrite, blebs, and stringers are seen. This 0.4 meter chip sample returned 1.9% copper. Again, you can see the metal sample tag left in place. Chip sample D-723223 was taken at the 1,902 meter elevation and consisted of 40% barren siltstone wall rock plus 60% white quartz with malachite alteration and 1% chalcopyrite as disseminations and patches. This 0.40 meter chip sample returned 0.25% copper. And as you can see, the host rocks are intensely folded. Chip sample D-723224 was taken at the 1,888 meter elevation over a width of 0.5 meters and consisted of quartz carbonate in contact with the shale wall rock, which also had a graphitic seam at the contact. Mineralization consisted of less than 1% chalcopyrite, and assay results returned 0.80% copper. Chip sample D-723225, taken at the same elevation, over 0.40 meters, consisted of quartz carbonate with limonite patches and 50% sheared shale with no apparent sulfides. The chip sample returned 0.06% copper. And finally, grab sample D-723226, taken at the same altitude, consisted of white quartz with minor iron carbonate and limonite staining. Malachite copper alteration was present and 2 to 3% chalcopyrite as disseminations, blebs, and a trace of bornite. This returned 0.35% copper. Follow Fabled Copper exploration results on the Muskwa group of properties located in British Columbia.